Hi, my name's Graham Addis, and I'm not your typical researcher. I spent decades bouncing around the world solving problems for large multinationals before eventually settling down in the University of Oxford. And do you know what really impressed me when I started there? It was how many researchers could provide coherent, high-quality research, managing their data on USB drives. Yeah, you know it all, okay. So they create their directories, they add some data to it, they add some more data to another directory, they do some analysis, put data in. They want to share it, they hand it on to their colleagues who then add more data, they add some back, they copy it. You get this explosion of directories of lots of different versions all over the place. Okay, what are the alternatives? What are the alternatives? How about Dropbox, OneDrive? Yeah, get nods around. You've seen it all, okay. Similar thing, yeah. You can do the same thing with that, except you've got the advantage that if you drop your hard drive, you're not going to lose all your data because it's backed up. And if you want to share your data, you just provide a link. You don't have to physically hand it over. Okay. Other things, electronic lab notebooks. Anybody? A few. Not so many. Yeah. Okay. Targeted researchers. They have, in some cases, some specific support for specialist areas, chemistry, bioinformatics, maybe even connections out to lab equipment might be useful for you. But the idea of using their web GUI to upload it, to input some of the data and then upload other data, and also the fact that to get that data back out is a feature. I'm sorry, it's my data. I want something that will help me manage my data, not sort of treat it as some sort of privilege to be able to get it back out. But let me let you in on a little secret. In the software development community, we have been dealing with these sorts of problems since the 1950s. We work on large systems, and we have electronic data too. We call it code. It's just electronic data. That's all it is. And we've come up with systems to manage this. And if we don't get it right, these systems stop working. Sorry, we've come up with tools to manage this. And if we don't get it right, these large systems that we work on simply stop working. You talk about reproducibility. If we can't reproduce our stuff, things like Google stop working. They wouldn't work. Okay, so we work on these things, and you have thousands of developers around the world working on tools to manage their data in a coherent way. The whole history of the data, it's all stored. We've heard of Git, okay? We want to share these tools. We're so proud of them, we want to make them available for other people to use and other people to collaborate on. So we talked about GitHub earlier on in previous talks. GitHub provides repositories for us to be able to do this. If you use a version control system called Git, that allows you to share your data with a central repository, okay? And they will do that for you for free with certain restrictions. Has anybody heard of GitLab? Another one that was mentioned. Yeah, a few, okay? Not as popular as GitHub, but they have the same thing, but with fewer restrictions. I don't know if you knew, but you can store up to 10 gigabytes of data per repository on GitLab. And you can have as many of those as you like. Now think about that. Think about the possibility for researchers in low and middle income countries, or any researcher on a tight budget. And let's face it, who's not? Yeah. Okay, so you have all these tools that are available, okay? You could upload your software, your data to these tools, make them available at a touch of a button. You just open them up to your collaborators or even the world. And that's open data for you. Maybe you don't want to trust a third-party provider, or you can't. Maybe there's restrictions, GDPR. No problem. GitLab provides the software for the system, and it allows you to download it and use it for free. I know I've done it. I joined a consortium, Stop HCV. It's a collaboration of industry and academic partners. It was led by Professor Ellie Barnes at the University of Oxford. It was funded by the MRC and did work in hepatitis C. over the period of around 6 years, they generated 30 terabytes of data. And they asked me to come and help them find a repository for this. So what I did was, we had certain constraints about this data. One, it had to be available past the funding. Yeah, the funders pulled the ropes out of us at the end of the funding. Yeah. And two, access had to come through a data access committee. So I couldn't use any of the public sharing systems. So I set up a version of GitLab, safe and secure behind the University of Oxford's Medical Sciences Division firewalls, serving the output of Stop HCV. And it's there now. It's making the output of HCV available to researchers around the UK and around the world that have been provided access to this data. So what does this tell us? What does this tell us? It tells us we don't need to be tied into bespoke niche solutions for our data management or tools which are not really, more of an afterthought. We can use industry standard, off-the-shelf tools like Git and GitLab to manage our data in a coherent way for free. Thank you.